Elisha. Dear friends, in today's story, let's get to know the prophet Elisha. The story of Elisha, who started as Elijah's servant and became a great prophet, begins in 1 Kings chapter 19. The events in Mount Carmel were part of a larger move by Elijah to draw Israel closer to God. Don't you remember that fire came down from heaven and that the people killed all the prophets of Baal? Then Elijah fled for fear of Jezebel, but God sent an angel to feed him and strengthen him. On the strength of the food given by the angel, Elijah walked for 40 days and 40 nights and went to Horeb, the mountain of God. This Mount Horeb is the Mount Sinai, where God revealed himself to Moses and gave him the commandments. The Lord appeared before Elijah, who believed himself to be the only one of God's prophets left. God strengthened Elijah and told him that his understanding was wrong, and that God had preserved 7,000 people who did not bend their knees to Baal. Along with that, God gave Elijah some new responsibilities. One of them was to anoint Elisha, son of Shaphat, as his successor. So Elijah went out and found Elisha, son of Shaphat. At that time he was plowing the field. Elijah went to him and put his mantle over him. Elisha realized the value of the anointing that fell on him and immediately took the decision to follow him. Elisha made a firm decision that he would never go back from God's call upon him. Then he took his yoke of oxen and slaughtered them, and burnt the plowing equipment to cook the meat, and gave it to the people, and they ate. Then he kissed his parents goodbye and arose and went after Elijah and assisted him. Although he came from a wealthy family, he had no complaint in remaining as Elijah's servant and pouring water on his hands. After a few years, the Lord decided to take Elijah up to heaven by a whirlwind. Elijah's disciples, including Elisha, knew that. So Elisha was not ready to leave Elijah for even a minute. Elijah tried many times, but Elisha did not back down. Elijah asked Elisha to leave him at Jericho and at Bethel and at the Jordan, but Elisha refused to do so. Finally, both of them crossed the Jordan together. Sensing Elisha's determination, Elijah asked what he should do for him before he was taken up to heaven. Elisha wasted no time in responding. He claimed the double share of the Spirit upon Elijah. Elijah replied, "It's hard, but it shall be so if you see me being taken up away from you. But if you do not see me, it shall not be so." As they still went on and talked, behold, chariots and horses of fire separated the two of them. And Elijah went up to heaven in a whirlwind. Elisha saw it and cried out. And when Elijah disappeared out of his sight, he took hold of his clothes and tore them into 2 pieces. And he took up the cloak of Elijah that had fallen from him and went back and stood on the bank of the Jordan. As Elijah had done while crossing to this side, Elisha took the cloak that had fallen from Elijah and struck the Jordan. It split into 2, and Elisha crossed over. The other disciples of the prophet who saw this understood that Elisha now had the spirit of Elijah. They met him and prostrated themselves before him. Elisha's prophetic ministry began there. Unlike Elijah, Elisha's ministry was often public. Elisha never went into hiding. He had often stepped forward in solving things from the small needs of common people to the bigger problems of society. Even though the kings of Israel often walked away from God, they valued Elisha's words. God had revealed to Elisha even the secret conversations in the court of the king of Syria. Elisha informed these to the king of Israel. The king of Syria, who had failed in many of his plans, at one point began to suspect that his own courtiers were acting as informants. But the king, realizing that Elisha was behind this, sent an army to capture him. But though the naked eye of man could not see, an army of heavenly hosts, greater than the enemy, was on Elisha's side. The servant of Elisha, on seeing the enemy, cried out in fear. But God opened the eyes of the servant to see this vision in answer to Elisha's prayer. Many miracles took place during Elisha's ministry of about 60 years, including making bitter water sweet, and some of the miracles performed by the Lord Jesus Christ, such as multiplying bread and raising the dead. Elisha ministered all over Israel, but most of his time was in Samaria, the capital. Elisha's house was also there. Elisha served as a prophet during the reign of 4 kings of Israel, from Jehoram to Joash. 2 of the responsibilities that God gave Elijah on Mount Horeb, anointing Hazael as king of Syria and Jehu as king of Israel, were fulfilled by Elisha. During the time of Joash, grandson of Jehu, Elisha contracted a deadly disease and died. Thus, we come to the end of the story of Elisha the prophet. We will see you with another story in the next video. God bless you.